Hey, what's good? This is Josh from Neg2YGO, here with an updated Chimera Fiendsmith deck profile. I wanted to get this out just to showcase that these two bands, obviously I was not playing the uplist before, but some people were, these two bands actually really do not impact the deck so much, and I think it is really, really well positioned moving to this current format. Obviously, Snake Eye is probably still the best deck. I think the gap between Snake Eye and other decks has closed a little bit, not being able to end on Appaloosa like it did before, having consistency hits where it can be a bit easier to hand trap it, or it is more susceptible to cards potentially like a Droll. The one card Poplar line is a lot weaker. This deck could actually be pretty well positioned to start taking some higher events. So we'll get into the deck profile. There are some changes over last time that you will see. We'll talk a little bit about when we get to them. Before, 3 Sword Knight, 3 Gazelle, 3 Codal, 2 Big Wing. Still the same ratio as before. Just being able to float into this guy and have the recursive resources through him. It's really, really powerful. 3 Chimera Fusion. All the same as before. Generic Illusions. 3 Nightmare Apprentice. 1 Diabells and 1 Master Tau. All the same as before. No changes there. The Fiendsmith Light Fiend package. 3 Engraver. The Sinister Necrom and the Adusted Gold. Lurry and Tract. Now you'll notice that I am no longer playing the Dark Fusion. The Dark Fusion came up in lines where you would go like Lacrima, add back the Adusted Gold, and basically be searching a poly type effect through that. Given that you can no longer do that, the only way to still do that is going Tract, Search Adusted, pitch a different card, then Adusted pitch Search Dark Fusion, which I just feel is far too minus for what you are getting out of it. Time will tell whether or not that's right, but that is the feeling that I have on it at the moment. You can still do it potentially through a Ptolemy line. If you go Ptolemy, add back the Adusted, then pitch the Adusted, search Dark Fusion. But at that point, you are committing a rank 6 into just getting a polymerization. And you'll see in a moment that I would rather do something else over that. So the thing that I would rather be doing is the Patchwork engine, running it as 2, 2, and 2. Excuse the blank. I'm very pressed for time today, and I did not have the opportunity to search out a second polymerization. I just think that running these cards as another way to continue fusing, as a way to play through interaction now that you don't have Beatrice as a backup plan. Aerial Eater covers a lot of corner case type things, but this I think is better than running the Dark Fusion. Took out a couple hand traps to make the cut, but is it just a very, very powerful engine. You need to be able to fusion summon to play, and I think time will tell that it will be worth it. On 12 hand traps at this time, 3 Nibiru, 3 Ash, 3 Vela, and 3 Imperm. Now these will depend on how the format shakes out. I think Appaloosa not being around anymore means that Nibiru is probably a lot stronger. Snake Eye is still going to be the best deck, but this should be even more powerful than it was before. And these guys, they're just the generics. As the format shakes out, they might be a little bit different. Getting into the extra deck now. Obviously before, as I mentioned before, Beatrice and Lacrima are no longer gone. So I've had to sub them out for 2 other cards. I'll show, just for starters, some of the options, and then you'll see what I chose to play instead. These are the sort of 4 potential options that I was initially considering. Chaos Angel is very powerful removal plus utility. Same with Ptolemy, it can do both. It can recycle the grave, it can clear the board. Desiree being a targeted negator. But I think that the other card that I'm running in that slot is perhaps a bit better for that purpose. But Desiree might end up going in just because of its also utility to recycle cards. And then Cross Sheep. Cross Sheep was quite powerful under the Beatrice combo. So you go Beatrice, send a Mirror Sword Knight, Aerial Eater banish, Lacrima, and Engraver. Bring itself back under the Cross Sheep. Cross Sheep bring back Mirror Sword Knight. Obviously, the 2 cards I previously mentioned there are no longer legal. So I don't think this is going to be seen in any more lists from now. We'll get into my extra deck. Still running the 1 of Guardian Chimera. This could end up a 2 of. Now you have a little bit more space. Chimera the Illusion Beast. This could also potentially be sacrificed for a 2nd Guardian Chimera. And Magnum the Reliever, the big bosses. For the Chimera fusions, 2 Baphomet and 1 Chimera the King, same as before. And then the Fiendsmith fusions, Aerial Eater plus Necroquip. This deck, kind of like Ubel, makes really, really good use of Aerial Eater. Covers a lot of cases that Beatrice would have previously. And you will probably have seen from some of the locals matches that I've uploaded. This is often being summoned and is just doing the same thing as Beatrice could potentially do. Beatrice covers more options, yes, but Aerial Eater is crazy and this deck makes insane usage of it. The rank 6s, and this is where I chose to put in 1 different card to before. Lars and Wave High. Wave High is the generic one that you always want to make game 1, unless you already know what your opponent is on. Lars is the alternative utility card. Just being able to shut down, so targeted negation, matchup dependent stuff. This can come in. You know, in a local scenario, you can definitely go for this. Lot better into Flu than Wave High is. It's just going to be matchup stuff. This could end up as other stuff, like there is the rank 6 that books an X-Deck monster. If you want to go gambling, you can play Pilgrim Reaper, Mill 5. I don't know why you would do that in this deck, but it is a card that exists. And Photon Strike Bouncer is like a single monster effect negate, so it can do, you know, negating Ash Blossom or things like that Upper Lizard could do previously and Wave High cannot. But I think this covers more cases and is my choice for the upcoming format. The extra deck, we've got the Fiendsmith guys, 1 Sequence, 1 Requiem, and then the generics, 1 SP, it's still just one of the greatest cards ever printed, 1 Muckraker, really powerful combos, and the other card that I put in, so this is in the Lacrima slot, is a Link Spider. This comes up for playing through Nibiru. You'll see in a combo towards the end of this video, where if you get Nibiru, you can use the Nibiru token to make a Link Spider, which is then going to fulfill the condition on your Magnum the Reliever, and can continue playing through that. So that is all for the deck profile. We will jump into the combo now. Alright, so this is just a little quick combo to showcase how a lot of the deck still does the same things it does before, but just a little difference. We'll start with Codal. Effect, search Gazelle, normal Gazelle, Gazelle get Sinister Necrom. Chimera Fusion, fuse them both away. Get into the Baphomet. Going to trigger the Baphomet and also the Gazelle. Searching Nightmare Apprentice and sending the Mirror Sword Knight. We get the Chimera Fusion back to hand here, and then use the Grave effect of the Sinister Necrom. Summon out the Dusted Gold from deck. And this all looks very familiar so far. Standard stuff that we were doing before. Requiem equipped to Engraver. Functionally link one into the Necroquip. And then we're going to go Engraver effect, putting back the Requiem, summoning it out from the grave. I'm going to turn these both into a sequence. Go sequence effect. And now here, I get to put back these two, as would have before. But instead of making the Lacrima, I'm just going to make an Aerial Eater. Aerial Eater effect here gets to go and send the Big Wing Baphomet. And now obviously we are threatening a wave high. We were before, but your opponent probably wouldn't want to Nibiru that there. I will show some stuff afterwards about how you can play around that nib there. But now here, before we go any further, overlay both of these and make the wave hiking. Apprentice, pitching any random card that you have in hand. Apprentice on board, searching the Diabels. Now these two into the Muckraker. I'm going to go Muckraker, targeting the Big Wing. Bring it back and pitch the Diabels. Trigger the Big Wing. Search 1, search 2. So now there's a couple options here. Number 1, you just pass. You have 2 Chimera Fusion on your opponent's turn. So you can go 1, 2, 3. And if you want, you can make the Guardian Chimera. Or if you want to just go straight away here, you can go Gazelle plus Muckraker into a Magnum. Or you can do Gazelle, Muckraker into some of the other extra options. You can make a second one of the Baphomet Fusion. So then you turn your Kotal and Mirror Sword Knight negates back on. Up to you. If you want to do it during your opponent's turn, you can go Chimera Fusion, these two away into the Chimera the King. Then you trigger this, your opponent will be discarding during the end phase. You're turning your graveyard negates back on, and then you're going to get 2 effects. You can get the Big Wing and also the Gazelle. So I can search any illusion here. I like to search just a card for follow-up. So I'm going to search the Master Tau, which I'm going to use during this turn. Get an Illusion Reborn as well. So now the Diabels is online. Your opponent gets 1 activation before this happens, but that's fine. Now Chimera Fusion, I have 1, 2, and 3. Turn them all into a Guardian Chimera. Get the Reborn of the Master Tau. So bring back the Nightmare Apprentice. Has to be in defense because of the Master Tau. Nightmare Apprentice searches me a follow-up card, so I can search for the, where is he? Mirror Sword Knight. I'm going to pop 2 and draw 1 off the Guardian Chimera. And I also have a lot of my graveyard recursion on. So I can use the Chimera to bring back one of the guys in grave, bring back a Gazelle, or bring back the Big Wing to search more. At any point, then, if the Baphomet gets detached from the wave high, then I can use that effect. I can bring back the Chimera the King that was banished. So still like a huge amount of interaction. And you're going to sort of clear your opponent's board, get your resources recurring, have your flood set up. But I'll show you what happens if we do get nibbed. So right here is the earliest point that you can threaten a wave high king. But your opponent is realistically not going to nib you here because you can still then go Engraver, shuffle back Requiem, make the sequence and continue playing. So we're going to keep playing as well. We'll go Requiem equip, make it into the Necroquip. Probably not going to nib you here. Engraver, shuffle back the Requiem, summon it out. This is the first point that they would realistically Nibiru you here, because you can still go these two into wave high and drop a Nightmare, or like these two into wave high, drop Nightmare, use Nightmare plus Engraver to make sequence. So we're going to assume that we get nibbed here. Oh, there's a big rock on my board now. I'm going to turn the big rock into, where is my friend, the Link Spider. Drop the Nightmare Apprentice effect. If you have not already gone through the Kotal, kind of makes things a bit simpler. You can go search Kotal search the Big Wing, Chimera Fusion the Big Wing plus the Link Spider into a Magnum the Reliever. Then Big Wing will get to reborn the Mirror Sword Knight that you sent earlier. You can go Sword Knight into the second Big Wing from deck, search. But because we started this combo with the Kotal, I'm going to assume that we have already used it, and I'm going to search instead the Master Tau. I'm going to go these two into a Muckraker, just because the Chimera Fusion does require a Beast or a Fiend. If you have the Poly, it also simplifies it, because then you don't have to go into the Muckraker first. You can save it. This is a kind of worst case scenario. Chimera Fusion, Master Tau plus the Muckraker into a Magnum the Reliever. The Master Tau will get its effect here. I'm going to reborn the Mirror Sword Knight. I can use the Magnum, put the Chimera Fusion to bottom, draw a free card, Sword Knight effect, get into the Big Wing effect, get Gazelle, get Chimera Fusion. Now I can go Chimera Fusion here, Gazelle plus Big Wing, make the Chimera the King. Chimera the King will get a hand rip. We've also now set up a second Chimera Fusion engrave for the Magnum pop during our opponent's turn. I'm going to get the reborn effect of the Big Wing, tag the Sword Knight back in again. The Master Tau lock does not matter here because it's an illusion, so you can still reborn it. Then at the start of your opponent's turn, tag the Sword Knight, make Big Wing, get your double search, and have follow up through that.